All right, welcome back to another episode of Torque, the channel created for the weekend warrior out there wrenching on their vehicle. So today's a pretty exciting day. Let's head out to the barn and I'll show you why. Okay, it's like Christmas at the Craig household today. I'm really happy today. We got the motor back today from the engine builder, the machinist, and you can see that our intake is not on. Of course, Edelbrock, they won't have those produced. It sounds like December or January now. So he said just go ahead and take the motor and he'll check the ports, see if they're matched on the intake when I get it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab the flywheel and we're going to install that, bolt it up, and then I'm going to put the magnet on there with a dial indicator. And when I do that, we'll be able to check and see if it's sitting flat on the crank and if it's moving at all, if it's wobbling. If so, then we'll reset it and make sure it's nice and flat. So we'll check that, then we'll install the bell housing, and we'll make sure the center of the crank is centered inside the hole of the bell housing. So just stay tuned. We'll just walk through the process and you'll see how it's done. All right, we're going to go ahead and install the flywheel. Flywheel is a Hayes flywheel. Going to install that per the directions from ARP. I did get their bolt kit. It's going to be torqued to 85 foot-pounds, and then we'll have to use this fastener assembly lubricant. These are our 12-point bolt. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and start installing these. Okay, I've just torqued this down to 85, just this one bolt. What I like to do is go ahead and put I've just got a silver marker. I like to put a mark on there, make sure that I've torqued that one bolt. That way I don't repeat it. And then try and go to the other side, do the same thing. Try and kind of go in a crosshatch. All right, so we've mounted the flywheel on here, 85 foot-pounds on all the bolts. Cleaned off the surface. I mounted my magnetic base. We're going to check out the runout of the flywheel. Hopefully it's not that much. I believe it has to stay below 8,000. So I'm going to go at a quarter turn at a time on the crank, and we'll see what our runout is. So it looks like we're at about a 1/1000th difference, which is really good. We are still at 0. That's excellent. We're at about 2/1000ths. And where it should be at 0, we're at 3/1000ths, back to 0. This where we started from. So, all right, I learned a very valuable lesson. I got a new the bell housing, Lakewood bell housing, but it also came with an engine plate. Well, you got to put on the engine plate before you put on the flywheel. So of course I had to remove the flywheel. I've got the engine plate just sitting here. So I'll put a couple bolts to retain that, bolt the flywheel up, and then we'll get to the bell housing. So let's do it all over again. All right, I'm going to try and show you how you center your bell housing to your crank or flywheel. So I've got a magnetic base that's on the flywheel itself. I've got the dial indicator right on the inside lip of the bell housing so that when you roll the engine over, you'll be able to get readings. And I did have readings all the way around, but what I did is I wanted to find the most extreme reading, which I set the dial on 0, and then I would roll it over. What it's doing is when we get down to the very bottom, I was reading 27 thousandths and 29 thousandths down at the bottom. So to show an example of what I mean, this is kind of crude, but so I made this kind of extreme so you'd understand it. The crank is actually offset. It's offset to the bottom because it was compressing the gauge, giving me 27 and 29 thousandths. At the very top, that was set at 0. So it's about 11 o'clock to, I don't know, 5 o'clock. So the whole bell housing needs to move down to the right a little bit. So the only way to do that is to get offset pins. So I will try and find something about, you take half of that amount, so about 28 thousandths, 14 thousandths offset pins. I don't know if they make them. I'm going to try and see if they have them online. So these are the pins. They'll have to be knocked out from the front, or sometimes you can take vice grips and clamp on them and smack your vice grips to pull them out. They should come out fairly easy since this engine just has been rebuilt. So I will check back with you guys and show you guys what I ordered. Hopefully I can find something around 14 thousandths. All right, so the kit that I got is from Moroso. The number on it's 37936. It's bell housing dowel pins, extra long, 14 thousandths offset, fits small and big block Chevys. What's included is just the 2 offset dowel pins, 2 set screws, and the directions. And the directions on this, the very first couple of sentences, or first sentence is off. It says drill and tap 3-32nd hole on center of dowel hole, 400 thousandths below the block, BE housing face. So I called them. I got a little bit of clarification, and I'll go over with you guys what you actually have to do. All right, I'll show you real quick. I drilled this with the number 29 drill bit. I tapped it with an 832 tap, and I have my little set screw in both sides. Now I put the pins in. You can see I've got them clocked almost straight at 6 o'clock position. They're just a hair off, like 5 to 11, like I stated before. This one's just a little bit closer to 6 o'clock. So we're gonna go ahead, and I've got the flywheel tightened down 85 foot-pounds. I left out 1 bolt just so I could put that magnetic base on, have a steady area for the reading. Now I'm gonna put on the bell housing, and we're going to check the Runout, and hopefully it's within tolerance. All right, so I've been messing with these pins for a little bit, trying to dial them in. A little bit more challenging than I thought. It's just not as straight, put them in and it's going to fall within. Had to adjust them just a little bit. So we're going to start off at the 6 o'clock position at 0, and let's go around and see how it looks. All right, I think that's as good as we're possibly going to get it. You have to be within 5 thousandths of center. So if this was, let's say, a +9, half of that would be 4.5. So you'd still be within tolerance. So I'll go ahead and show you how I adjusted everything. All right, just to show you real quick on these dowel pins, they have a straight slot on them so you can move them. But in order to move them, they can't be that tight. So I took them, put them on a drill press, sanded them down with 400 grit sandpaper, kind of polished them out, and it was snug enough of a fit that I was able to tap it in with a rubber mallet and then adjust them while the bell housing was still in place. All you have to do is loosen up that set screw and then turn these to wherever you need. So I'm glad we're well within tolerance. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Hope you learned something, because I definitely did. And I hope to see you on another episode of Torqued.